Hello, and welcome back to the Coop De Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here tonight with Noah Fisher to discuss Manchester City versus Aston Villa from Wednesday night. Yep, bit of a shocker, but we're still in fourth. There is some positives. Not our worst performance of the season, but Phill Foden was the difference, and we will be getting into all of that and much more after this. Yes, welcome back to the live version of the Coop De Villa podcast. And look, Noah, let's talk about the game because Villa had a chance to go 5 points clear of Tottenham. I think it was 13 points clear of Manchester United. But look, it wasn't our night. It wasn't meant to be. And woke up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. Woke up for a 3:15 kickoff. Looked at the team as I was getting my coffee and nearly choked. I thought I was in the middle of a fever dream. I was thinking, should I go back to bed? Because, no Pau Torres, no Emi Martinez, no Ollie Watkins we knew about, no Bailey, no Tillemans. A very, very different team. 6 changes altogether. And, wow, it was a bit of a shock, to say the least.
Yeah, just a little bit. Same with you. I guess I have a bit of an later kickoff. 6:15 for me it started, so a bit more sleep for me, Scott, compared to you today. You're looking pretty tired, but same with you. I saw Martinez in goal, and I thought, okay, I didn't obviously read through social media. It's so early, you just wake up, and then you see Robin Olsen walking out. I've gone, what the hell is going on? And to his credit, he actually played quite well.
He was the man of the match for us.
Yeah, for a lot of people, I thought he did really well. I thought Timmy did okay as well, but as you said, when the team sheet came out, I was a little bit surprised. Obviously, besides Zaniolo and Duran, who we thought were coming in, but to their credit, for the first 45 minutes and a couple of seconds before that free kick, I thought we were holding our own, to say the least.
Yeah, look, I mean, it wasn't the worst first half. Obviously, they scored quite early in the first 10 minutes with Rodri. Zaniolo sort of left his man a little bit on that one, and I actually thought Doku was offside. Like the first shot,
it looked close, didn't it?
The freeze frame we saw, I was like, well, he's clearly offside there. This one's going to be chalked off, but it wasn't. And I think
Longley was just playing him on just.
Well, yeah, I didn't see a like an extended line. They put a quick line up there when they were doing the VAR, but I would have liked to have a good look at it. But look, it didn't make much difference in the end. So they go 1-0 up, and then I thought we played some pretty good stuff at times. Diaby, Zaniolo, Duran, Rogers was doing some good things here and there as well. And we had some good counterattacks, and one of them resulted in a goal for Duran, a great moment for him, and a good moment for Villa, just to get it back level and be able to start again. And look, for the rest of the first half up until the last moments, it wasn't awful, but I mean I guess the big question is, was this lineup Emery throwing this game, or was it just he felt this was the best team to get a result?
I look at it that we have so much football coming up, Scott. Like, we have an absurd amount of games coming up, and I think players might be a bit knackered. I mean, Torres has been under injury cloud for so long since we've since he came back from injury. He's been in and out of the squad. And I was really surprised that Tielemans didn't play. I thought he's been playing really well, especially with John McGinn.
Yeah.
I think he's been so important for us. Pau Torres has been crucial, but in saying that, Longlay's been playing well, so I can't really have a crack at him not like playing Longley because Longlay's been all right. But when you look at the team you're playing Manchester City and all that kind of stuff, and you have a big opportunity. We beat them before, first time doing a double since 1963. It's on paper, it just seems like such a big chance to have a crack at them, seeming the well-documented outs they had. I'm not sure if you heard they had a few outs as well, unlike Villa's injury list, but yeah.
Villa's injury list doesn't get mentioned ever. It's always Newcastle, Tottenham, Man United, have had these terrible seasons with injuries, but we've had 3 ACLs, and Jacob Ramsey's hardly played all season. There's been heaps, a lot more than I can mention. Diego Carlos, Consa's been out, Torres has been out. So look,
it doesn't help when your standing captain, goalkeeper, best keeper in the world, pulls out 40 minutes before the game with illness. I think that was a bit of a kick in the teeth as well, because against City away, you probably want a calm figure in net, like Emmy. Again, I know Olsen played well and he polled very well on the Aston Villa Fans Australia page, and we do our 3-2-1s. I think you gave him 3, Scott. So it just proved how well he did.
He played really well. That was his best game for Villa, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's not saying much because he's been absolutely shocking for us.
He has been.
But yeah, that's all
Joe Gauchi, your man, probably.
He's my man.
Joe Gauchi was thinking he might get a game when Emmy came down sick, but no.
Not yet.
Look,
not yet.
Not yet.
But
not yet.
I'm reading Cox's comment here. Resting players as he expected to lose. I don't know. I think that's a bit stiff. I think he probably players might be a bit small. I don't really know.
I think the sort of the diplomatic way to put it would be he's focusing on the Brentford game on Saturday. And he probably thinks that we've got a better chance of getting the 3 points we need there. And look, Scotty UK here has a good point that, Saturday's not going to be an easy game. Brentford are one of those teams that can cause a lot of teams problems. They're not having the best season.
And they'll be up for it as well. They'll be up for it. They got a decent result overnight. Was it 0-0 against Brighton, I believe? They held on for a draw there. So that's a big result for them because they're fighting for their lives as well. I know it's expected that the bottom 3 won't change, but it's a funny sport, football, and a lot of things can happen. Yeah,
and a few more teams have been dragged into that relegation race with the points deductions and things like that. So, it's going to be tough. And if we do win that game, which we hope to do, and we're expected to do, I think 6 points from Wolves, City, and Brentford is a pretty good situation, a pretty good haul, and we would have taken that last week. So, look, I'm not totally down on this result. I feel a lot better than the Newcastle game, the Tottenham game. I think we even played better.
Both of the United games.
Yeah, I think we even played better than Ajax away in a game we drew. We looked fairly solid on the ball at times. We had some good combinations. We defended quite well. Yes, but this is the moment Jared is highlighting. Hi, Jared. It's good to see you, mate. We are good long-time friend, Jared. We used to play football together, and we also caught up in Brisbane when the Villa were here. But look, he makes a good point. Like, it was 1-1, it was tight, and then Zaniolo turning his back on the wall. That is unforgivable. I've been one of his sort of biggest supporters, I would say. And I would say give him time. He's going to be frustrating at times, but he's got talent, and I think maybe we can maybe make his move permanent or whatever. But that particular move was absolutely unforgivable. Criminal defending. You don't turn your back in a wall. You take it in the face. You take it in the balls if you have to.
You do what you have to do.
Yeah, and Duran actually turns his back in the wall too, if you see the replay, but he at least, when he turns his back, doesn't doesn't make a gap.
Yeah, it's just such a
Um,
crucial time of the game. I was messaging Owen, who unfortunately couldn't go last night. He's watching the game, and I was like, we've got to get in halftime 1-1. We have to get in at 1-1. It was absolutely crucial. And then that happens. And obviously watching it live, I was like, oh, that's just a good free kick. You know, going around the wall, whatever, good free kick. And then watching it, and you just see it, and it just gets worse and worse and worse every time you see it. So, yeah.
And I saw Don Hutchison on Twitter saying that he should be fined a week's wages for that. And I can't disagree. Like, that is just
Emery would be fuming.
Schoolboy error. That's the kind of thing you get taught, you know, in under 10s. You know, when you're in the wall, you got to be prepared to cop one. Yes, but like Louise gave that foul away on Grealish, which probably didn't need to happen, as well. So he's not totally off the hook there. He got the yellow card. I reckon
he was lucky not to get sent off, Scott. I'm not sure I can be the only fan that can think that, because I think that was another yellow. I think that was worse than the one he got a card for.
Yeah, that was the second one. You're right.
Yeah, so I think he's a lucky boy, and he's got to avoid a card against Brentford to not miss 2 games, I believe. I think that's the last game, then it rolls over. So I think he's a lucky man.
That's it. But Jeff says here, you know, we lost, but we're still in 4th, and we looked effective at times. And I think that, you know, I'd agree with that. I think, you know, these young guys had positive nights, especially Timmy. I thought that was probably his best game for a while.
He's growing, Scott. He's growing, and is someone that, you know, last season we went out on loan, maybe the season before as well. I feel like could be the end of him. And Villa showed he has so much promise and so much ability, and I think he's finally coming to what we knew he could do. Getting a few starts, especially in crucial games. I know Ajax wasn't his best performance, and you know that's you always remember from your last performance. You know, everyone goes, "Oh, he was terrible," like, you know. But he's really growing, and I think it was the best game for Morgan Rogers as well. I mean, he gets his first Premier League assist, and that finish from Duran, I don't think we spoke about it enough. That's a fucking good finish, Scott.
That's a hell of a finish.
And it's a goal. He held his run twice, and he just took it so calmly, and it was just something that Ollie Watkins normally does for us, and he hasn't been able to do in recent weeks, but that was a great finish. And I think if it was Haaland or if it was Marcus Rashford or whoever you want, I think that finish gets hyped up a lot more. But just flies under the radar for young John Duran. But that'll give him a lot of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a striker's finish. You know, from a tight angle, he makes it look easy. Side netting. And, you know, he's a guy who's going to be important. I mean, we don't know if Ollie will be back for Brentford. We think he probably will be, but you never know. So, you know, if he's not back, you know, we need Duran to keep this kind of, you know, performance going in a game that we're going to have a lot more possession. We're going to have probably a lot more chances. And, you know, those games against the Brentfords, you know, if you can score with your first chance like he did, go 1-0 up, you know, that makes a huge difference to the possibility of winning the game. So, it's good to see him showing a bit of form. But Timmy, I think it's just he was putting his footing at times, winning the ball off the likes of Rodri and Bernardo Silva, and these are great players. I mean, yeah, there's times when we've got the ball and the press that they put on. I mean, you've got to say, like, they are an unbelievable team, Manchester City, Rodri and Phill Foden and Bernardo Silva, and these guys were all. Doku was looking dangerous. Even I thought Grealish looked pretty good.
He was always going to look good though against us.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot to talk about with him. You know, he's been copping it, but Rodri and Phill Foden especially, unbelievable players, and just showed us how far we are away from those top teams. Because every time we got the ball, they just absolutely suffocated us. And
it's what the good teams do. I mean, you look at those finishes that Foden had. I can think of two or three of them. That Foden just bang one touch off a turnover, one touch goal. Not even just hit it first time goal. I think it was the third one as well. Just bang straight in the corner. It's like that's the killer instinct you need. That's what you need. And I thought we had that. I think we had 1-5 and it was 1-1, and we had that killer instinct with the Duran goal, and we weren't rushing it. And the good teams, no matter how many injuries they've got such good squad depth. And most of their players on the bench would probably start for us. I know their bench was obviously stacked last night, but look at players that they've got that isn't playing every week, and it's just ridiculous the quality they've got. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have a chance to make it 2-2 with Douglas Luiz after another lovely
big chance
counter attack. Diaby picks him out with a lovely ball. Zaniolo was part of that attack as well. Did really well. And it's just like Dougie was just a bit too central. If he hits that either side of the keeper, that's a goal. It was a good strike, but these kind of things, are just the difference. Phil Foden bang in off the post, and Dougie's shot is a bit too central, and that's the thing. That's the thing in football. Against these good teams, you make mistakes. There was a question there. Where's Tommy? He's unavailable tonight.
Tommy's in here somewhere. Tommy is around. He's liked the stream. So if you're in here, Tommy, put something in the chat for us, mate. But he's around. He was busy tonight. It's so tough with our work schedules to get him to line up all the time. I know Tommy has,
and we've got a lot of games coming up as well. So
yeah, we try and make it work. I'm sorry if Scott and I are too boring for you. We try to be as entertaining as possible. But Tommy will be back.
There seems to be a lot of you in the chat, which is great. And,
it's always good to see.
Let us know, who are you guys impressed with, who or not impressed with? I mean, I guess the one sort of real talking point, or is Grealish, and there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people saying that he was trying to get Douglas Luiz sent off.
He was,
and
I agree with that.
Yeah, and he's a disgrace, and
Scott, I know you love Grealish, and I love Grealish while he was here. He's a legend in my eyes of Villa. I just don't care about him anymore, because the more I thought about it when he first left, it made me really upset he had gone. And now it's the third season. No, it's a long time. It's officially off the financial fair play books. That's how long it's been. It's been the 3 years. Right. 100 million is gone off, and I think that's time for Villa fans just to move on. I heard him getting booed, and I know some fans aren't happy with him still and whatever, but you pay your money, you can boo who you like, but I just don't get involved anymore, Scott. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get why we're still doing it. I understand maybe for the first year or two, whatever, booing him every time he gets the ball and all this sort of stuff, and I understand it, but it kind of feels a bit like how Arsenal fans treat Unai Emery. To me, it's a little bit I don't understand why you'd hate him that much, but okay, each to their own. And I mean, and these people, they're saying he never dived before or whatever. He always dived. It's fucking Grealish.
It's the same old. It's the same old. It's the same old. And they're the tricks he used to do for us. It's literally the same tricks he played for us when he was playing for us. And it's always going to, it's like the same thing when Ashley Young left, Scott. He dived against Villa. It's part of their game. You do what you want for your team to win. And it's what you have to do.
And Rodri and Bernardo Silva and these guys were also in the refs here constantly. Manchester City always do it. All the good teams have done it, tried to intimidate the referee. Manchester United of the 90s. Do you don't think Roy Keane and these guys were in the referee's ear constantly? Of course they were. So
it's just how it was. It's literally just how it was.
And look, each to their own. But I think now, like you said, it's probably best just to move on and let him do what he does, and kind of, because if you're going to boo him during the game, I'm sure that's going to fire him up to be, want to beat us even more.
But do you know what makes me feel sad, Scott? He got invited back to Villa Park a couple of times, when City weren't playing, and he denied the request because he didn't feel welcome anymore. And that's what upsets me, because I think he should be able to come watch Villa games, because technically he says he's a fan of Aston Villa, and he doesn't feel welcome back at a place that we used to absolutely cherish him. And I think the club should be proud of an academy prospect winning a treble. I know it's not with Aston Villa, but I still think it's an unbelievable achievement that someone would spend £100 million on your player because he's that good. And look how we've done.
I probably wouldn't go that far, but
no, you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
I think he should be allowed back or whatever, but maybe one day, probably later in his career. Like people forget pretty quickly once he retires or whatever. I'm sure he'll be back, and who knows, he might be back as a player one day. But I just thought we had to talk about it because it is a bit old and a bit kind of stupid, but everyone does talk about it on Twitter and whatever. So I thought we had to bring it up. But let's move. Yeah, let's talk about Olsen because he made some great saves. It was a difficult night for him. It was
always going to be
coming in to the hardest game of the season on paper. With only half an hour notice or 40-minute notice. So he came and took a good early catch, and he made some good stops, and he couldn't really do anything about any of the goals. I think maybe the Rodri one. Maybe he could have.
It's so stiff. Again. People are saying on social media, Emmy wouldn't have conceded 4.
No. Well,
how do you know?
He wouldn't have saved any of the Foden
I can't
goals.
think of one he would have saved, and it's the first time every time we normally pass it back to Olsen, I'm nervous what he's going to do with the ball. It was the first time I actually wasn't that nervous because he's been around Emery for a long time now. He would not be our backup keeper if Emery didn't trust him. He brought Joe Gauchi in from Australia. He wouldn't be playing if he wasn't up to it. That's how I see it. I know he's not the best backup keeper in the world because how do you say the City's not Ortega? City's backup keeper?
Yeah.
He was outstanding. So yeah, there are good keepers around, and I'm quite happy how he played, and hopefully that takes some criticism off his back.
Yeah, and we also saw Luca Digne in for Moreno, and I think he was okay. I think a few of his crosses were not quite what we want, not his usual standard. But after Moreno's sort of disappointing performance against Wolves, where he was a bit all over the shop at times, I think that was interesting to see, and be interesting to see who starts against Brentford. Eugene Singh. It's a good point. This does put pressure on the Brentford result, but I think this is why Emery made the changes he did. And the likes of Tielemans, McGinn, Bailey, they're all going to be back. Torres, Emi Martinez for the Brentford game, and they're going to be fresh, and especially McGinn. I'm expecting a big performance from him.
So am I.
I could see him putting in, a 10 out of 10 performance, and trying to lift the crowd, lift the team.
He owes us.
And, because you could tell when we saw him in the crowd at the Wolves match that he wasn't content. He wasn't happy. He wanted to be out there, and when Mings tried to get him to wave to the whole 10, he wouldn't do it because he felt embarrassed. So, that just shows to me that he's a winner. He's a leader. He's not one of these guys that's in it for the likes and the Instagram stuff, whatever. He wants to win. He wants Champions League. He wants to lead out Villa next year to the Champions League music at Villa Park. And
how insane would that be?
Yeah, it'd be insane. And look, I'm sure we're all going to be Chelsea fans tonight and hope they could beat United in what I like to call the disappointment derby. Chelsea versus Man United, the absolute two basket case of clubs at the moment that will not be in the Champions League next year, or fingers crossed they won't be. But it's looking like that's going to be a couple of Europa clubs next year. So Chelsea might not even
get Europe. Yeah,
they're in the bottom half, aren't they? So, but
close enough.
If they were going to have a good game, it could. I'm hoping it is tonight. And then the gap at the moment is it 10 points? I think
it's 11 points at the moment. 11, yeah.
So 11 points. So, but I'm not really too worried that they can catch us, to be honest, because anyone that watched them against Brentford, not very good. So
I heard like people say when it gets to more points than games, it's very, very hard to catch up. And that's something I think I'll agree with as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into the second half, like it was a bit of a capitulation, not very good. Obviously the second goal just before halftime kills us, and then Dougie has that chance. There was also a header from Longley that was, on target, but so we had a little 5-minute period there, but apart from that, we really didn't produce anything at all. And Duran and Diaby and these kind of guys were sort of dropped their level a bit, and we couldn't get the ball. We didn't have that much of the ball in the first half, but we had hardly any of it at all in the second. And
chasing tails all second half.
Yeah, and by the time like Kellyman and Chambers come on, and Chambers gives away that goal with a.
He thought it was Messi, Scott. He thought he was Messi. Oh, that one killed me. That one absolutely killed me because Chambers was so reliable for us under Steven Gerrard. Like he was really reliable when he scored that banger against Leeds, and he just looks like a different player. Like Callum, you're not Messi, mate. Just get rid of the thing.
You can kind of see why he hasn't played much this year, and I do feel for him in a way. Not playing all year and then being put in when you're 3-1 down against City away. It's not very easy, but like you said,
the dogs aren't happy either, Scott.
The dogs aren't happy. They're booing Grealish too. Good on you, Kellyman. His Premier League debut. I saw some posts. Shut up. On social media by his family. His family were really happy, and that's great to see. And we've got someone walking past the house. That's all it is.
They're not happy. They are. Are you sure it's not because Villa lost 4-1, Scott, or what?
Well, look, they were up in the middle of the night with me, and they didn't seem too bothered about the game then. So, no, I think it's just the someone's walked past. But look, So who else did we see? Bailey came on for a bit and looked sort of all right. He
ran pretty quick. He ran pretty quick, but when he came on, I think those subs came a little bit late. I think we needed some changes at halftime, some reinforcements at halftime, and when it gets to that stage of the game, you just conceded. It really just it just kicked us in the guts, that free kick goal. We just didn't need it, and then we finally get out of our worst period, 45 to 60 minutes, when we love to concede goals. I think we conceded in the 62nd. So positives, we didn't concede between the 45th and 60th minute, but I think after that we needed changes then, or just before that, I could see goals were going to come, and they weren't for the claret and blue shirt. Honestly, Foden is a class player. He is an absolute class player, and that's what he does. He had those chances, and he absolutely buried them.
He did, and it could have been worse. They could have run away and got a couple more, and really gave us a proper tonking. But 4-1,
5 or 6.
Yeah, 4-1. We move on. That we put that one behind us, and Foden is a good player. I think we can all agree with that.
He can kick a football better than most. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, he's got a bit of talent. So look, it's not a disgrace, and like I said, we've lost worse games than this last season. Newcastle, Tottenham, Liverpool away, I would even say, was probably a worse performance early in the season. So, we just got to move on, and like we have all year, pick ourselves up after a bad defeat, and come back with a positive result. We've been doing that. We did it after Tottenham. We got the draw against West Ham. We've done it before after Newcastle, after Liverpool, after Man United. We've got wins, sometimes scrappy wins, but wins that have kept the momentum going, and kept us just at arm's length from those sides that are behind us. And like I said, we are still in fourth, so It's
There's
nothing.
There's no need to panic, Scott. And when we did our ladder predictor, our table predictor, we had us losing that game. Like we both kind of agreed that was going to be a step too far, I thought. And I know we predicted wins last week, or I think you predicted a draw, because we always back the Villa boys in, and if it happens, we look like superstars. But it was always going to be a tough game. It's no matter who City put out, no matter who we put out, it was always going to be a tough place to go. And
that's it. And it just makes me think, what will he do away to Arsenal in a couple of weeks?
Got to go for it. I think I was saying to Owen yesterday, like, we just need a big scalp. I thought one of our 3 games, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, I think you can call a big scalp if you want. I think we had to draw that. We need to get one of those 3 remaining ones. Just a big win against one of the big dogs.
Yeah, I think Chelsea and Liverpool at home will be different.
So do
because, at Villa Park, we're a different proposition. I mean, Chelsea, we beat them away. They're inconsistent. They came to us in the FA Cup and destroyed us. So that can happen, but we weren't traveling the best in that period. We'd lost to Newcastle, Man United. We had a few injuries, and we sort of were going through our slump then. Hopefully that's our one and only slump, and we don't, we can finish this season well. And I think, with McGinn coming back and that sort of thing, we'll be all right. So good to see you there, Jack. Another villain.
Your dogs aren't having a bar of the people today, mate, walking past. I think they're really frustrated at the results.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And you're not happy either. You're giving them greasy, Scott.
I know. I've got to take them out for a walk. I think that's what they're trying to tell me. Yes. Well, there you go. Look, so we got Brentford coming up. What do you expect? Like, is there anyone that played in this match that you think could start that match? Like, there was chances given to the likes of Zaniolo, Duran, others as well, Luca Digne, Longley. So out of those guys Timmy as well, of course, out of those guys that, played, that, we were a bit surprised started, who do you think's got the best chance of keeping their place?
John Duran.
Well,
I know it wasn't a surprise, but I'm honestly like, I can't see any of them, Scott. We got to go for it. We got to have our best team playing. I think, like, I wouldn't even say Rodgers was a surprise to start, because I think he's been building and building. I think he will probably start against Brentford again.
He
I
started the last 3 games now.
Yeah, I think Torres comes back in for Longley. I think McGinn comes in for Timmy. He'll go back to the bench, and I think that it will be the same old Villa team that we're used to. And we've got to go for it. No more surprises.
Do you think Diaby, Bailey, and Watkins, if he's fit, or Duran?
If Watkins is fit, he plays. And I think that you got to start your best team, Scott. I know, like, it's getting to I know we have European football coming up and all that kind of stuff, and we really want to win that competition. But Conference League or Champions League, like, I know it's tight on what you pick, but I'll snap your arm off for Champions League football right now. I honestly would, because we are so close. We've been in the top 4 so much of the season, and I think we deserve it. So I think you got to go full guns blazing against a team at home that are fighting relegation, that have got some players back that are playing decentish football now, and just do what we did under Aaron Danks that one time.
Absolutely stuffed them 4-0 that time. That was a great
we got to make up that goal difference that we lost, so why not?
Yep. Look, Martin thinks we'll finish 4th, and look, I think 4th might be tough, but A lot of it comes down to Tottenham's results. Obviously, they play Chelsea, their game in hand. And then they have exactly the same games. They play City, they play Arsenal, they play Liverpool. They play those guys. And I really think that that we need to get something out of one of the big boys, because I think they have a chance to as well. Because
obviously, Scott, we know Ange as a very good manager when he was here in Australia and what he's done overseas. And he loves a big scalp more than anyone, just about. He absolutely loves an upset. I mean, he came to Villa Park, and I'll say that was an upset. Then playing off the park at Villa Park was a massive upset, and they loved it. And it was a big, big result for them. And it's not out of the ordinary if he goes and gets a win against City or something.
Yeah, no, they've got City and Arsenal at home as well. So, they're going to be interesting matches. But look, I mean, I think fifth spot will be Champions League anyway. So, I mean, it's not certain. It's not certain, but, it is nice to have that sort of, backup just in case we don't sneak into fourth. I think it's a great season for us to finally put it all together, in that, if we had done this last season, we would be really sweating for the fourth spot, because we would know that it's top four and that's it. But this year there's an opportunity. There's the change in the Champions League, and that's gonna be a new thing for everyone in the Champions League next year as well. So if we did qualify for the Champions League, we could find ourselves in a spot where we get a favorable draw, and we can play some big boys. But look, let's get there first, and Ollie Watkins hopefully is okay. Fingers crossed. And the story was that he didn't want to come off against Wolves, like he wanted to continue, but the medical staff made the call to bring him off at halftime. So, that's positive. That's a good sign. And hopefully, Emery was just being cautious against Man City, saying, "Look, let's give him this week off. Let's give him a whole week to fully recover, and then
attack to run home
100% against Brentford." So
exactly, that's kind of what we want. We got some massive. It doesn't stop. It honestly doesn't stop. Well, we got 7 games left now. Is that right? 7 or 8? 7.
7 in the league, yeah. And then we've also got that quarterfinal against Lille in the Europa Conference League.
Hopefully 5 games of European football left. Hopefully 5.
Yeah, so it's Brentford and then Lille at home, which is an interesting one because we've had the away leg second against Ajax. So Emery's
I'm kind of glad we got the home leg first, Scott. I think it's just staying in England, staying, around that, because I think that will not favour us. I think it's going to be an absolutely tough leg anyway. Yeah. But I think that benefits us a little bit more with the games we've got coming up, because as you said, we've got Brentford, Lille, Arsenal, Lille again, then Bournemouth.
Yep. Yes. So he's going to have to attack that first game. He's going to have to go for it. There's no, let's see what happens in the first leg, and then, we're just going to have to go for it, and that might work in our favour. And
if we smack him in the first leg, I think that's it. I really do. If we win 3 or 4-0 at home, pumping Villa Park, I don't think there's a way back for Lille.
Yeah,
and that's how we got to see it.
Well, I think a 3 or 4-0 might be a little bit optimistic, but
never be too
optimistic. A 2-0, or even a win, and then in the second leg they have to come at us, and we can use our pace on the counter attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Dougie also needs to not get a card against Brentford, because if he does, it's a 2-game ban.
And he misses Arsenal and Bournemouth. And Arsenal's a big one. Arsenal's, yeah. So,
look, I think that's a game where if we could get a couple of early goals and get up, just get him off the field. Make sure he doesn't get that second card. I'd even be saying to Emery, just don't tackle anyone. Unless you have to, that sort of, like things like he was like the one on Grealish last night, nothing like that. Do not try and tackle from behind, try and grab someone. He's got to be really disciplined, because we can't afford for him to be missing for
No.
two matches.
Not at this time of the year.
Yeah, we've had McGinn missing. We're just going to get him back. Kamara's out for the rest of the season. So we need the best midfield possible out there because, when, the likes of Rodgers playing in there, yes, he's got a lot of talent, a lot of potential, but, he drifts in and out of games and he's not defensively as sound as the other guys. So yeah, we really need him to be at his best.
You're loving this, aren't you?
Shut up.
Scott has absolutely had enough. They're not happy with you either, mate. Not happy with you at all. This is so good. This is what we love. This is what we love. But while Scott's dealing with that, if you have any questions, get them down below.
Yeah, that's my dog Lady who loves a bark, and she doesn't like the neighbors at all.
Doesn't like the neighbors. I can confirm I have met Lady, and she doesn't like me either. So
no, not at all. but yeah, it's nothing personal. Trust me.
I know, don't worry.
Right, so yeah, if you've got any questions for us or any comments on the team, now's the time to fire away, and we'll be
fire them away. Let's get them in.
Yeah, we'll be going for another.
I'll quickly chuck some ones up that I couldn't quite put up, but I'll chuck some up that we had before. So Scotty UK, that was about the Grealish thing, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree with that. Again, 100%. A lot of them about the foul as well.
Yes.
Just a bit annoying that one, but
yeah, we've touched on that. When is Mings and Emmy back? I don't think we're going to see them.
I think they're both out till next year.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see them again this season. I don't think they need to be rushed. Bonnie's saying we should introduce the dogs. Well, yes, maybe we can do that on a later stream, but at the moment they're being too loud. So, maybe when Tommy's not here, we can get the dogs to
do the podcast for us.
Yeah. We'll set them up a Zoom and
exactly.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. So,
should we did we do predictions for Brentford? I think we did.
Let's do. No, we didn't. Let's do predictions. I'm going to say 3-1 Villa.
5-0 Villa. I think we're going to blaze them off the park like we've done to Aaron Danks and just kill them. We need the goal difference again, Scott. It's ridiculous. We're now below.
What is the goal difference now?
Ours is now 17 and theirs is 18. So we're above them by 3.
Well, it's not
2 goals.
It's not
horrible. It's not horrible.
But yeah, that could come in very very important, the goal difference.
Can we qualify for champ?
Eugen's saying 4-2 Villa. Can we qualify for Champions League, the Europa? No, we cannot.
Through Europa League.
No, we can qualify for the Europa through the Europa Conference.
But not the Champions League.
Yeah, we'd have to. Yeah.
And top 5 or top 4 is the only way we can.
We've pretty much got Europa signed, sealed, and delivered. So the only way we're finishing in the Champions League next season if we finish in the top 4 or possibly 5, depending on the coefficient.
Yeah, it depends on the coefficient. Now, Scott, Jim here backs me in. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well,
be confident.
I hope you and Jim are correct, but I will take 1-0, 2-1. I'll take any kind of victory. It's just the 3 points we need.
3 points,
and what we don't need is, Ivan Toney or Mbeumo or those guys, having a stormer, because they do have some dangerous players, and
they do.
They have caused us some pain in the past. It's one of those clubs that just seem to get freaky results against us, even back in the championship days when Dean Smith was the manager and Ollie Watkins was playing for them, and
Consul was playing for him.
Yeah. So,
and again, I agree with this comment as well. Win, no cards. No
Yeah,
one
well,
get a booking.
no cards for Louise, especially.
Or reds, or no reds.
Yeah, all red cards. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So that we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen. But Saturday, 3:00, Villa Park.
What's your lineup, Scott? I gave mine. What's yours?
All right, my lineup is Consa right back, Emmy in goals, of course. Consa right back, Torres and Carlos centre halves. I'm going to say Digne left back, and then my midfield three are Tillemans, McGinn, Louise, and my front three I would go for Ollie if he's fit, but if not, Duran. Bailey on the right, and probably Diaby, but I wouldn't mind Zaniolo giving another start against a team that we should beat, because I think he's in good form, and I think he's probably more natural to play on that left-hand side, than Diaby.
I get
But
that.
I think it has to be Diaby because he is playing well, and
He's playing well.
he's scored against Wolves, great goal. So yeah, I'll say Diaby, Duran, and Bailey.
I just think I've seen enough of Zaniolo. I really do. I think he's had enough chances now, and I know he's in good form, and he was unreal for that 20 minutes that it was against Wolves, and was big for the goal and scored against West Ham and stuff. But he's so hot and cold. It is ridiculous. He's more hot and cold than the Melbourne weather in the summer, Scott. It is absurd what that man can do one game and the other.
It's true. And look, we can always bring him off the bench. And yes, I agree with Kmart. He folded on that free kick, and that was not good. But up until that point, I thought he was playing quite well. But unfortunately, everyone's going to remember what what he did with that free kick, and that's not good at all. So look, Eugen's got a similar team. He's got Moreno though instead of Digne. So yeah,
and Tillemans and no. Do you have Tillemans in yours?
Yeah, I had Tillemans.
Yeah, okay.
Instead of Rogers. So
yeah,
I think maybe give Rogers a rest and
I can see that. I can
put our three, best, most experienced players in there, and really go for this one, because look, we're going to need to get a positive result and hopefully get a win. So look, I think that's a pretty good place to finish, Noah. Sorry that Tommy wasn't here. He will be back for the Brentford one, I'm sure of it. And thanks for your support. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please tell your friends about any Villa fans about us going live. Keep an eye on the socials. We'll let you know when we are going live. After the Brentford one, it's probably going to be Sunday evening, Australian time. So yeah, check it out there. There's
some big Coop De Villa news coming too, potentially, Scott, down the line.
Oh yeah, yes, there is. Yes,
there are things in the works that could be happening. Keep an eye out. That's for sure.
A few surprises Noah has got for me as well. Apparently,
there's a surprise on the way, and there's also a surprise for everyone on the way as well. Not just for you, Scott, but there's a surprise for everyone on the way as well.
Well,
so keep an eye out. Yeah.
That's a big tease. That's a big tease there, Noah.
I just want people to come back. I'm not going to end on a cliffhanger. It's like the end of a series on a TV show. They suck you in and they'll come back. Come back for the next pod.
I love Eugen here. He's saying at least Tommy didn't get 10 yellow cards for the season. Well, I think, he misses games without getting suspended. But I'm sure if there was yellow cards for podcasting, he would get a lot of them. Because
well up there.
Absolutely.
He'd get him every week.
He would. He'd have to start with a yellow card, I think. But look, thanks again for all your support, and we will see you after Brentford. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa. Woo.
See you guys.